horses off the week back up have a very good strike rate in the Phillies Classic, which just makes me more confident about Salty Pearl.
And Salty Pearl wins it by a length, enviable.
Hopefully he can start our day well in South Australia.
Blanford Barrett needs the line. Favourites going to scrape in. Gee, flying home Rebel Tuesday made up some headway.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's preview. Only got the 2 winners last week, which I wasn't too happy with, but we move on to this week. Derby Day, what a day. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news for you guys. I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is it's the toughest day I've seen in a long time doing the form. The good news is I might have just found the best bet I've seen in a long time. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. Gonna start with something a little bit different. I'm going to shed light on a few comments that I got earlier in the week from Nuts50 and Hugo's the Boss. So you're going to have to pause the screen if you want to have a read. But they've tracked my results over time and got these stats. I just read these and went, wow, this is awesome. So yeah, pause if you want to have a read, but that is awesome. Thank you to the 2 blokes that did that. Now moving on to the Fan Cup, the month of October has ended for Saturday racing. It hasn't ended yet, but it's ended for Saturday racing, and Jamie clearly the leader, ahead of Tom, who finished in second, and Brian, who only tipped for 1 week, but he tipped Jigsaw last week, which was a big result. We now move on to the overall leaderboard, and Jamie is well clear on that as well. He is a superstar. Paul's in second, Zach's in third, Daniel's in fourth, and then in for fifth, we've got the blind goalkeeper. So once again, I say this every month, but if you watch my preview to get some selections, make sure to go in the comments section and check out these guys' tips as well, because they've been shown to make a profit over time through the Fan Cup, and you can put your best bet in the comments below if you want to have your name on the leaderboard if it wins in the Fan Cup. Let's get on now with the Derby Day selections. You guys didn't have to wait long to find out who it is, and it's Flemington Race 1, number 1, Vinrock, 3 units to win on at $3.90, the best bet I've seen in a long time, and by a long time, I mean 5 days, because last Saturday at the Gold Coast circuit, I thought Tropic Sands was a sure thing, but before then it was months upon months upon months. We're going to take a look at Vinrock's last start run in the Caulfield Guineas. How good of a form reference is the Caulfield Guineas for a race like the Carbine Club, where he ran a gallant 4th, beaten by Autumn Boy. Beat a couple of horses on this occasion that are pretty good. Rivellino, who was unlucky not to win last week in Sydney, and also Nepotism, who was far from disgraced in a Cox Plate. Vinrock from Gate 2, I think, maps for an absolutely ideal run on Saturday. Despite carrying the most weight in the race with 59.5 kilos, when you look at the handicap ratings, he's actually the best weighted horse in this race. He's won 2 from 2 at Flemington. I love Vinrock as a bet on Saturday. I'm going to have a very small bet on one in the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and you can tell it's very small because the last time I had a 0.25 unit bet was probably last year, to be honest. But it is Raging Force, and we're going to take a look at Raging Force last start run in the Gothic Stakes behind 10 Tyrus. Now, despite Raging Force going down this occasion to a very big rival in 10 Tyrus, it put 2 lengths on the rest of this field at the 150 metre mark, and I thought that was a good effort to do that. The end of 1200 metres is going to be the query with Raging Force, but I just thought from a pure price perspective, Raging Force only got beaten a half a length by 10 Tyrus this day. I just thought from a price perspective, there was too big of a gap between 10 Tyrus and Raging Force. Raging Force has been a good horse for me in the past, so I'm going to have something very small on it in the Coolmore. I'm going to do a live stream, not tomorrow, not Friday night, Saturday night, as I typically do after the last race on Derby Day for the Melbourne Cup barrier draw. I'm not sure what time I'm going to put it on yet, because I'm still not entirely sure what time they're doing the barrier draw this year. But once I know more information, I'll let you guys know, and make sure to tune in if you can. Let's go up to Randwick now, where I'm having 1 unit to win on race 4, number 1, Meridiana, at the $3.90 mark. This was Meridiana's last start run at Rose Hill in a midway, benchmark 72, over 1,300 metres. This was a big win. Settled last and flew over the lot of them to win by a half a length. Goes into a $500,000 race on Saturday, so there's some decent horses going around, but I like Meridiana, a 4-year-old mare on the rise, only had the 5 career starts, very lightly raced. I love Johnny Sargent as a trainer. The fact that it's produced this big performance first up could leave it a little bit flat for second up. However, I don't think that'll happen because it's had a trial in between runs and they've kept it fresh 5 weeks in between runs. Had some good form dating back to last preparation, so I'm happy to be on Meridiana. The very next race, race number 5, I'm going to have 1 unit the win on horse 2, Sun God, at the $4.60 mark. We're going to take a look at Sun God's first up win at the Warwick Farm track in a benchmark 88 over 1,600 metres. Anna Roper rode him on this occasion, settled 2 pairs back along the inside and managed to record a nice win. Thought this was a big effort first up, and again, maybe left a bit flat second up, but I like how it's had a trial in between runs. I actually like it drawn out. I like it drawn gate 8 because it gives Anna Roper options. She can either push forward and go outside the leader or go back and settle as second last, which I don't actually mind with a horse like this. So Sun God I'm with in race 5. Race 6 is a shorty, but I like him. 1.5 units to win on horse 8, I Stole a Merc at $2.20. This was I Stole a Merc's first up win at Warwick Farm, benchmark 72, 1,100 metres. It was a very, very good win. Settled outside the leader and managed to record a 2 1/4 length win on this day. Now, it goes up in class, but not by much, only to a benchmark 78. I like the booking of James McDonald going on. Ashley Morgan rode him at the Warwick Farm track, but you get an upgrade with James McDonald going on. I think this horse will push forward again and be very hard to beat. And I'm with J-Mac again in the last race, blasting out with horse 8, Polyglot, 1 unit the win on at $3.80. Now, this horse has been a bit of a punter's nightmare of late, but this was its last start run in a benchmark 78 over 1,100 metres at Rose Hill, where it was a sound effort behind Rosalind Star. Now, I like it 200 metres up in distance. It's run 1,100 metres. It's past 4 starts where it's disappointed market expectation, or at least hasn't won. Now it goes to the 1,300 metres and it finally draws a gate. It's past 4 starts. It's drawn 9, 9, 11 and 9. Now it's drawn gate 2. James McDonald goes back on this horse, and I'm hoping he can guide it to victory in the last. It's that time of the week. It's last man standing with just 3 Saturdays to go. We've finally seen some change in the leaderboard. Adzi has gone to the top after he had a $90 win all-up Observer into Via Sistina last week. So he's on top. Cole relegated to second. Hayden's moved up to third. I've gone back to fourth. And Sky High Horse Racing on the bottom. He's still yet to register a collect, so hopefully he can get one in the next 3 weeks. We'll start with what Adzi's doing. He's having a $90 win all-up King Zephyr into Autumn Glow, and then a $10 win all-up with Autumn Mystery, 10 Tyrus, Jimmy Star, Fangirl, and also Perfumist. Then we'll move on to what Cole's doing. He's having 50 the win on Brave 1 at Randwick, and then $10 the win, 20 the place on Options in the Derby, and 20 the place on Crystal Clear at Randwick. Then we'll move on to what Hayden's doing. He's going to have a $90 win all up, Vinrock into Observer into Jimmy Star, and then a $10 win all up with those 3 horses, and 10 Tyrus and Pride of Jenny. I'm going to have a $100 win all up, Vinrock into Autumn Glow, and Sky High Horse Racing is going to have a $100 win all up, She's a Alibi into Get a Good Feeling into Observer. That's what we're doing for Last Man Standing this week. Moving across to South Australia, we're in race 4 in Morphettville. I'm having 0.75 units to win on horse 5, Savatov at $5. This was Savatoff's last start run at Morpherville, ran second behind Guru Warrior. Now, a few of you may remember from a couple of weeks ago that I was all over Guru Warrior, but I was surprised with how close Savatov got to it in the end, and I thought it was a big effort by that horse. Drops down from a benchmark 72 to a 0 to 64. It's a massive drop back in class, and it only goes up 2.5 kilos in weight. From gate 3, I think maps for a similar run around midfield, and I think if it does what it did last start, it'll be hard to beat. In race 6, I'm going to have 1 unit the win on horse 1, Porter, at $3.50. Porter ran at Caulfield last start, behind Surf and Bird in this benchmark 70 over the 1400 metres, and I thought it was a pretty good run. It didn't get out until the top of the straight, and nothing was catching that winner, but it gapped fourth. It was the winner that gapped the second horse, and then the third horse that gapped the fourth horse, and I thought Porter's run was very good. Now goes back across to South Australia for Danny O'Brien. They've put a 3 kilo claimer on it, so I'm hoping Alicia Warren just takes luck out of the equation and goes straight to the front, which is what Porter likes. The only query is that it's never won at the 1600 metres before or been tried at 1600 metres, but I was impressed with its last start run, and hopefully it can run us a race. The Too Darn Hot Never Shot the Deputy Colt has black type potential. Take a moment to look at the amount of stacked talent in this horse's pedigree. You can pause if you want. I rate Too Darn Hot as one of the best sires in the country right now. He's already sired a 2-year-old stakes winner this season in Sheiky. This colt is set to be trained by Tom Dabernig, who Flying Start have had great success with through stakes winner, Flying Mascot, and other regular winners in Dreams L and Call to Glory. Shares start from $3,775, so hit the link in the description to secure your share today. Now moving up to Queensland at Eagle Farm, there's a bit of thunder and lightning about, I think, on Saturday, so I hope the races go ahead. I'm going to have one unit the win on number 5 in race 2, Hearts Are Better. We're going to take a look at its last start trial at Eagle Farm, a nice piece of work. This horse is a 4-year-old mare. It's only had the 8 starts. It possesses a tremendous amount of early speed, so from gate 2 I'm hoping can hold the inside and lead. This is a horse that won a $500,000 3-year-old race at the Gold Coast last campaign and managed to run in a Mick Dittman and a Gold Coast Guineas, so it's a horse that's clearly got ability, and I'm hoping from the low draw on Saturday it can spear through to take up the running and prove hard to run down. Now we'll move on to Let It Ride. I'm getting a little bit excited now about this. We've cracked the 4,000 mark. It's been going well the past 4 or 5 weeks, and this week could be the make or break because I'm taking a little bit of a risk with the price. It's $1.50, Vinrock the place. I do think it is a very, 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 very good bet, and I think it's going to get a very good run in transit, and hopefully if something's too good for it, it can fall into a minor placing, and if that gets up, we'll be over 6k. Well, thanks everyone for watching this week's preview. It's currently a 10.5 unit spend. We're going to know our fate early on as race 1, number 1, Vinrock. If it wins, I make a profit no matter what. If it loses, I'm going to really struggle to make a profit unless some of my other selections can win. So that's how the day's going to go. Hopefully Vinrock can get up. Thanks everyone once again for watching. Until next video, bye for now.